government, in partnership with UN agencies, is implementing a joint program on gender-based violence that intend to protect women from all forms of GBV through measures of prevention, protection, prosecution, programming, and partnership. All duty bearers in this field have been trained and are providing services to the public with women unique vulnerability in mind. The campaign against FGM has been boosted, leading to the reduction of FGM prevalence from 27% to 21% in 2014, and the figure is set to continue coming down. My ministry, therefore, acknowledges that a widow is a dual marginalized woman and is aware of the numerous challenges they face. Most widows have been suffering in silence while enduring depression, emotional and financial constraints, but single-handedly fending for their children. And I'm happy the child who spoke here, whatever God wanted him to be is going to be. Do you believe it? Yes. So I think for us women, whatever our children, God destined them to be, they are going to be with or without a spouse because He has provided for them. Nevertheless, widows have remained strong and keep their children in schools and colleges. I commend you for your resilience, strength, and determination amid these tough times. As a Cabinet Secretary responsible for Women Affairs, I pledge my personal pledge to work with all concerned agencies to ensure that all forms of violence and discrimination, whether social, economic, or political against women and girls, will be dealt with according to our laws, and women will fully enjoy a fundamental rights and freedom. This year's International Women's Day, empowering widows through vocational training, skills training, should act as a clarion call for policymakers in vocational training and other stakeholders. In a nutshell, therefore, I call for concerted effort from all of us in elimination of retrogressive laws, regulations, policies, cultural practices, and stereotypes that violate widows' fundamental rights and freedom. We must selflessly guard on grandmothers, on our aunts and our sisters and our daughters against all forms of discrimination. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest, I wish to thank you all for finding time to come and commemorate this day together, celebrate, rejoice, and I once again want to assure you my support and that of the Ministry of Public Service, and at the same time underscore, no ministry works alone, because if we work alone, Ambassador would not have been here today.
So in order to provide a dignified avenue to transfer the skills that you have acquired as women in home-based caregiving, which often ends up as a full-time job, and to supplement the needs of our healthcare sector, I'm going to work very closely with my colleagues from the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Public Service, of Youth, of Gender, to establish avenues for recognizing, reskilling, and employing these invaluable skills into our primary and palliative health care sector as a form of realizing our President's universal health coverage pillar. So there is nothing that should go to waste. And as government, we will work together with all the ministries involved so that the care that you give is actually recognized and even certified. So you can also use that as an avenue for supporting yourselves. And to support that, today I will direct the Kenya National Qualifications Authority to work with the State Department of Post-Training and Skills Development to set in place mechanisms for the recognition of prior learning, prior experience, to improve access to qualifications for all of you, thus promoting skills development and lifelong learning. We have been supported along the way by our development partners, and UN Women is here. I know that the EU has also provided support in various forms to make sure that this day is celebrated, but also to actualize our policies in financing, in equipping technology transfer, and also providing apprenticeship support across our country to everybody. And so I want to thank them. And please let's acknowledge Karine, who is here, and who has come up with some amazing proposals, right? And I'll just repeat 2 or 3 of them. One of the issues that were raised in her statement was to make sure that we provided access to disadvantaged women. And I'm standing here, Karine, to tell you that the 2 ministries that are here, together with the others that are not here, have done that, and we will upscale to make sure that this support is provided and this access is provided. Right? I've talked about access to our vocational training centers. I think that's a big one. Let's use it. But we will also work with the UN Women to make sure that we look at other areas. Infrastructure, as I said, infrastructure, we have hard infrastructure in place. We'll work on the soft infrastructure so that the institutions are friendly. They're widow-friendly. And I think that the one that really struck me as being important is the mobile training units. And I think I and Kevit will look at that to see how we can actually work on that to make sure that we reach those groups that cannot get to the training facilities that we have. And so the mobile training units, I think, is a really amazing proposal. It's something that we have not worked on before. We've worked on mobile health facilities, yes, but we haven't looked at this, so I think it's something that we can look at. We're also working with industry to make sure that space is created for any of you that are trained through these centers. Now, I want to end by saying 2 things. One is that I'm appealing to UN Women to actually look at the possibility of having a decade for widows. I said that the numbers are huge. The numbers are really, really big. And I think if we actually had 10 years, a decade, when we could focus on your challenges, on your difficulties, but on also the support, the encouragement, the resources that can be provided to you to empower you, and we can focus the world's attention, not just one country, not a continent, but the world's attention on your challenges. Right? I think then we'll be able to break that circle, right, and give you what you really need. So together, I think we'll work on making this, at least having a rallying cry and saying that we really would like to see 10 years dedicated to our widows. And let me finally say this, that the soul of a nation is seen by how well it protects its elderly, its sick, its widows, and its orphans. And we in government, led by my sister, Professor Kobia, will work in concert to ensure that we provide the best opportunities for our widows. So I want to thank you very, very much, to say that I'm really happy to be here, that I have been properly adorned, as you can see, right, by some of you out there in the stands. We removed the headgear because we wanted to be able to communicate directly. But we've agreed that as we leave here, we'll put them back on. Yeah, but really, thank you very, very much. I know it's not easy. I was brought up part of my life by a mother who was also widowed. And life was very, very challenging. But she told me that all you need to do when life becomes difficult is to take your shuka, tie it around your, there you go, and you do that every day, and get to work and do what you can as best as you can. She was not educated at all. She didn't go to school. And so tying that shuka around her waist meant that she had to toil with her hands and use everything that she had to ensure, and you know, that was the other thing. There were 9 of us, And she wanted to make sure that each one of us went to school. Yeah? But you know, she was not unique. And she told us this every morning when she woke up. When we looked at her and said, "Oh, Mama, you're having such a difficult time," she would say, "No, I'm not alone. There are so many of us." Right? So I'm not going to sit back and wait for somebody to come. And I will not tell you today what she did, but it was not easy work. It was very, very hard work. Yeah. And all that she did was make sure that she invested in our children, as you do every single day. And that's why we're trying so hard in government to make sure that these pathways that we're creating for your children to find employment, to get skilled, are made easier by the day. We have experienced what you're experiencing. And so we stand here in solidarity. If we stand together, we'll comfort each other, we will encourage each other, we will support each other. You have something that she did not have in her day. You have organizations that actually support you, that bring you together, that hold your hands. You have a government that has created tools to support you, right? And so I think today we want to thank the Almighty God for His grace, for the support that we continue to get, right? You are our heroes, and you'll continue to be our heroes. Thank you very, very much.